Hey there, monkeys. Grab that cup of coffee, kick back, and relax. We'll get started with a Sitrep in just a minute. Check out our latest coffee from Costa Rica at monkeyworksus.com. All right. Hey, welcome, Monkey Nation. This is going to be your Sitrep. It is 2/6/2024, and we're going to talk about some very interesting things today. If you just saw the recent bill that went, it's basically, I guess it's into Congress for them to pass now. It's been written, it's been submitted, and then they pushed it out there for everybody to see. Holy smokes, these crooks, they've got some stones. I will tell you, I cannot believe what they are trying. We're going to look at those numbers closely, but this is a very big indicator that the deep state right now is in a panic. Why would you think that? Well, let's do this. Let's back up and look at Nikki Hailey. All right. She's got no chance whatsoever, but she is a deep state global crony, graduate from the WEF, School of Future Global Leaders. I'm going to show you the article to prove that. Okay. They have made a lot of attempts to basically go in and wipe that stuff out. You can find it in obscure places, but I will tell you, go back into the Wayback Machine and you can pull up all the stuff that they've gone in and deleted over time. So they want her as a candidate, and that is on the Trump side of the house. Now, then you go over to the Democratic side, and you have got the guy that has been, and we know this, right? He is the puppeteer that is handling flashbang in the White House. We knew that, and all indications on everything we're seeing foreign policy-wise are matching exactly what he would have somebody do, right? Because it's what he would do. Now, what are they trying to do? They're trying to push Big Mike in as a candidate, right? So that tells you they are freaking out, but he wants to be able to control it and get in a full 16 years, because he thinks they could probably get Big Mike in there. Big Mike can run 2 terms. He had his 2 terms. And then, of course, actually, if you count the term with flashbang in there, then he'll have 5 terms at the end of the day. I know. It's I think it'd be a big stretch for them to get Big Mike in there. But, hey, listen, like I said, it has an apple, it's got a banana, and there ain't no hiding that one, okay? And so this will be very interesting to see how that plays out. But then it doesn't stop there. Look at what's going on in Ukraine. They're running out of ammo. And when I show you this bill that they're trying to pass, it's criminal, straight up criminal. But I'm going to show you the lack of Ukrainian artillery strikes happening, and you can see they are definitely running out of stuff. And this is going to get really interesting because now they're in a panic of how can we get this funded, and they're going to try and slip it into everything that's out there. So just watch as these criminals, right, this is straight up treason, and I'm going to show you some Bohica moments as well tied to this, and we're going to look at the skies. What's going on over Vegas? Or what's not going on over Vegas? You would think that they would be super high security. Vegas is not far, really, when you look at the southern border over that area. It's not far up the road for them to get something, in that could have a very large impact. You think about the movie Sum of All Fears, right? It is a Super Bowl. And this is going to get really interesting. So let's do this. Let's get over here to the watch list of what's going on the Mini. We're in Skyglass as always. And by the way, if you haven't joined us on Patreon, we would love to have you over there. Got a little QR link there for you that you can just hold your phone up to. It'll take you straight in there. And it's an amazing community. Amazing is an understatement. It is just absolutely such a blessing to see such a great community together. So let's do this. All right. I take the text too. So all the trainers I've taken out, and you can see I've got 89 text twos. So there's almost 90 of those. EC45s, almost 50 of those. And then T38s, almost 40 of those. So we have a boatload of trainers in the air, but I've stripped all those out. Still sitting at 204 for our total number there in the sky across the United States. Now, remember, we did just have, and there may, I'm not sure how long this exercise is going off the West Coast. We're going to look and see if the danger boxes are still there, et cetera, for this exercise. But it was a massive exercise off out here where this has been a danger box for quite some time. So what does that mean? I mean, is it really an exercise? Are they trying to flex over that area? Probably more than likely that's what's going on. So, and then of course in Europe, we've got a big exercise going on there as well. All right. Okay. So let's do this. We're going to look at the watch list first. And the big thing, if you just notice that there's a little drone up there over Canada, but what I'm seeing a lot of right now up in the sky from the watch list perspective are two elements. One, air refuelers, a lot of them. Two, border security, mostly Texas DPS, but and then notice Air Force Two is up, right? Bob Marley is in the air, and then you've got, looks like another air refueler heading across the drink, probably taking more fighters. I'm telling you, I think there's a spring offensive coming, and we're going to see what little Chucky Schumer had to say today in one of his little remarks about the border bill, okay? This is... when I show you the numbers, folks, you're gonna start flipping tables, right? This is ridiculous. But yeah, you can see in Europe, got a little E3 in there, a lot of refuelers up. Again, very active from the refueler standpoint. You've got a Q4 drone out over the Black Sea, right? Really trying to get an eye on what the Russians are up to, especially over Crimea. And then, of course, the little one, that's a low altitude. Notice where there's not anything, and that's over Israel. Nothing. None of the Israeli aircraft are up, etc. Little drone that looked to be down over the Mediterranean, okay, as a low altitude drone. And then that's an intel bird that's actually flying into, looks like it just is coming into Japan. All right. So that is the watch list. Now let's look at the intel world. As we start out in the Philippines, just notice you've got some stuff going on in Southeast Asia. Now, I do see, this is the last 5 days, though, I see some activity out off the coastline and over the Israeli side of the house. Then notice that one's coming out to the west of Malta. And then these heavy-duty tracks looking at Crimea, all right, and probably Serbia, all right. And then notice again, as always, just doing that little loop around Kaliningrad and looking very closely at Belarus all the way up towards St. Petersburg, Russia. And then, of course, we get over here to the United States and just notice some transitions, some long transitions, right? Nothing. I was looking to see if we had anything in Panama because we haven't seen anything there in a little while. We know there's some unrest going on down there still, all right? And then just, again, these transitions. That one's going in towards Lubbock. And then not Vegas, but to kind of the northwest corner up towards Reno, which I thought was interesting. All right, there's that. Let's look at the drones and the lack thereof. This is an interesting tell-all. A little bit of work there over Southern California. Nothing over Vegas. All right, you would think they'd be all hands on deck given the Super Bowl. I mean, it's a lot of people in one location. They seem to be just kind of, I feel like they're turning a blind eye. All right. And then out over the Mediterranean, over Italy, towards Greece. All right. And then you can see there's a little bit of drone work right there, kind of UAE right, in that general area. All right. And then here's Homeland Security of the United States. Again, Super Bowl coming up. Notice where it's not. I got nothing over Vegas. Given how porous our borders are, you'd think they'd be really, really focused on an area that we're going to all be kind of watching and just a large crowd, right? Probably 90,000 people. All right. Nothing really. Homeland Security was pretty dismal. Now the R-135s, again, looking very closely at Crimea, right, and into Ukraine. And that looks to be a British asset coming out of the UK, headed over that direction. And then, of course, I see some training flights down over Texas. I see an asset, looks like it went into Las Vegas, but I haven't seen it get airborne yet. Maybe they're going to start looking for a little bit of nukes in the area as well. Just, the sniffer. Now the AWACS, which is interesting. Notice the AWACS is kind of in that general area, right? Popping in. That's advanced early warning, right? But also tied to red flags. So and we know they just had a huge exercise in that region. And you can see just kind of up there towards the northeast border between Michigan and Canada. And then, of course, this one right up over RZE, right? Right there, that's RZE. That's a forward operating base. Right down over Spain, over Europe, etc. I don't see them anywhere else, though. Okay. All right. And then look at the air refuelers. This is the last 5 days. Very big move into Hawaii. That could have been maybe transitioning some things over, like fighters. Again, over that Southern California area, right? Along the border areas, Tucson, El Paso, Florida, and then see the marshaling, all of those little long, like racetrack looking things. Those are marshaling patterns, right? And so they're just holding as fighters will come in and hook up. And then Europe, I mean, that's just kind of one of those, we expect to see them in those particular areas, but that's, of course, and the large exercise going on. So we know there's fighters over there. Notice the transitions of air refuelers into Kuwait, right? That's another indicator, of fighters into the region, probably for advanced some strikes against some of the Iranian targets. But it could actually be, it could go after Iran too. I seriously doubt it. But look at the amount of stuff going on over now, over the Asian Pacific side of the house, and then Australia, right? You kind of see that as well. So, okay, back to this, again, air refueling side of the house, very active, very busy, even down under and into Asia, which is very unusual. We don't see that too often. If we just take a look at what's up right now, H-47 banana copters, there's 7 of those, right, across the United States. And then we go up here to the H-60s, which there are 30 of those. So pretty busy. Again, 6 to 8 is kind of the normal for the helo activity over the United States at any given point. But we've seen some numbers as of recent, like you're talking within the last week, in the evenings, pushing 80, which is a pretty big number at night. Okay. All right. So we covered that. Let's get into the news and what's going on out there. First off, if you're in California, it is a level 4 of 4 risk for excessive rainfall. So you're about to get yet more rain coming from this atmospheric river that's pushing in. And they're saying it's going to hit on Sunday, February 4th, which was the last couple of days. Now, that just happened. Of course, that was threatening, you're talking about flooding, mudslides, power outages, et cetera, is what they were calling for. Now, let's back it up because that was posted out yesterday, but it doesn't just stop there. If you see, that's just the first wave. I think they called that a Pineapple Express, but look at what is right behind it. Yet again, you can see it pushing in. This will probably be a little further north versus south, right, as that comes in. But another big push, right, and something we need to pay close attention to if you're in those general areas. From a TFR perspective, you will just notice Vegas, that's Super Bowl. You expect that. A lot of rain coming into Vegas right now. And then if we go back over here to this side of the house, looks like we've got flashbang on the move, but that date, if we look at the date for this, it is not until the 8th of February, so that's a couple days away. And then this one looks like this is kind of shaking loose now. Tomorrow, actually, is going to be the day. I don't know if you've got UN coming in again. Probably so, if I had to guess. But that is where we stand for that. Again, I did see Air Force 2 was on the move. Where they're going, I don't know. I don't see. Of course, Bob Marley gets a smaller, the smaller stuff here. So that's air show. All right, well, I'm not going to try and search for that. We'll just back away from that. But let's go on over to the next piece. This is something just to watch. I want you to pay close attention to one aspect right here. Watch this ring as I go through the various altitudes, all right? And just tell me if it doesn't look suspicious, right? Just notice how it looks like almost if you were to drop a splash into water and you get those little rings that come out, okay? So you come in from the altitudes as it goes up. You see that? That little, like, almost like it was an echo, right? Little bow echo kind of perfectly round ring. You can see it right here. This is where we're looking. All right. That's at various altitudes. So kind of strange, isn't it? All right. Well, anyway, we've got that happening. This looks like yet more flights by NOAA that's out looking probably atmospheric river stuff. But of course, it's very cryptic. It's I'm not seeing any flights. If I go into NOAA, it's, just these are probably teal flights coming in. But anyway, you can see this is all turbulence coming across the region. This is all turbulence as well. Again, a lot of extra boxes out here right now. So that means you've got a lot of exercises and operations happening, right? When they're red, that is an active box. And when they're orange, my understanding is that's just kind of an ongoing box, okay? All right. Over to Europe, just to see if I got any boxes that catch my eye. I don't see. This box catches my eye. What is that all about? Military fighter interceptor aircraft operations. Okay. So it looks like we've got something that looks U.S. related up in that general region. Interesting. So you got some fighters up in that general area. Interesting. Okay. All right. Now, this is, I find, as we talked about the panics, we talk about Nikki Hailey being in the race when she's really not in the race, but they're just, it's the media pushing it out there. Well, she's been really denying the whole WEF connection piece. So I want to show you, this is 12 Indians among WEF's young global leaders. Yes, you heard that right. Now, American Indian, well, they're trying to tack that on, but when I show you this name, these are India Indians, okay? And we'll just kind of pop down a little bit. You can see some of them, on here that we don't know who any of these people are really. But then you get to this right here. Oh, that's weird. 12 Indians among WEF's young global leaders. Again, you have to go to the Wayback Machine to pull a lot of the data now relative to this. But this is, look at this name, okay? Nimrata Nikki Randhawa Hailey, all right? I don't know, is that this? I don't know if that's American Indian. Of course, they say that she's an American Indian. Right here, Hailey is the first Indian and the first woman to serve. So this is an Indian press, but they're not. I mean, she does look pretty like dot Indian, not feather Indian, right? Like I said, she's in there. This is from 2011. All right, so she is definitely connected to the WEF, folks. All right, just keep that in mind, and she can deny it all she wants. All right, let's talk immigration for a minute. Chinese are the fastest growing group illegally crossing the U.S. borders. This is coming out as a report, and it's over on the Daily Wire. But one of the things this article talks about is a rancher that actually fired a shot to let them know to stop, don't enter on his property, and he actually got arrested for doing so. He just shot it in the air, but still, nonetheless, this is your big takeaway. The DOJ admits that in 2023, 55% of Chinese migrants gained asylum as opposed to 14% for every other nationality. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Okay. Nonetheless, they're coming in. They say there's like a little 4-foot fence that's wide open in the Southern California area that they just basically roll right through. Coming through the front door, as they say. All right, this is going to be your current Swift air flights coming in. Notice interior of the country. Phoenix to Reno, Nevada. So Reno, you're getting another set of, another plane load of migrants, illegals coming in. Notice into Bogota, Colombia, Central America, etc. Mexico right here, right? Central here. Looks like Mexico City, right? But here's something I do want to point out. Let me do this. I'm going to show you the Swift flights. We're going to come back to the screen. Notice, right, there's transitioning Tucson over to one of the border towns here, very close to Eagle Pass. But notice this one, right? That's Lubbock, Texas. Right now, I had a follower that reached out to their congressman for that area, and they were basically told that, this is a conspiracy theory. There are no illegals coming into Lubbock, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm going to show you the flight, all right, just so you got a tail number and you can go back to them and tell them to pack sand because they are clearly in on the deal, all right? And, just, again, 26 flights the last 5 days. It has slowed down a little bit, but that's probably because there's some disruptions going on down in the Del Rio area, which is the main focal point where they're all coming through, all right? But this flight, tail number N808TJ, all right, came in from Fayetteville, right, Arkansas into Lubbock, Texas, and that was one of many that we have been tracking. It from there left and went to another location. But these guys are the main migrant folks moving illegals in through our country, all right? So if you want proof, there it is right there, all right? Okay, travelers in the Cincinnati airport may have been exposed to measles. Now, if you're not familiar with that airport, you've heard me talk about it a multitude of times when it comes to the migrant movements here in the United States. It goes by the call sign CVG, all right? And so that is exactly what's going on. It says possible measles exposure last month. We're just now hearing about this, folks, all right, in the CVG International Airport. That's because they're pushing migrants rapidly through that airport, all right? So nonetheless, they're giving a window. Those who traveled in the Terminal A of the airport between 5 and 9 p.m. on January 27th, at 8:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. on January 29th may have been exposed to measles. Listen, it would run just throughout the entire United States before they ever figure out that it has already spread. So they start seeing cases all over the place. So scary stuff, all right? All right, over to Flashbank's calendar. Doesn't look like he's got too much going on. Luckily, you know what? He's jumping into Black History Month, it looks like. He did attend a black church, and we've seen the rhythm that he has and a lot of his references to folks like Corn Pop, right? He's a bad dude. And so it looks like he's going to go pay a little respect to this event. And we're in good hands, right? Good hands. Let's move on as we talk about being in good hands. The Senate releases Establishment's migration bill. Yeah, they put it out there, folks. And this thing is a bohica moment that, is. And if you're not familiar with that acronym, bend over, here it comes again. That's what that stands for. But we're going to look closely at it. Here is where it gets into. U.S. Senate unveils $118 billion bill on border security, aid for Ukraine and Israel. Well, let me show you where it's buried. And if you aren't flipping tables, you need to check, make sure you got a pulse, because I am telling you, this is straight up highway robbery, all right? Right here over my head, this line that comes right over my head. Yeah, you see that's the largest amount in this bill. Absolutely massive. Of the 118 billion, 60 billion is going to Ukraine. They're hiding it inside the bill, as always, to try and bamboozle us, right? So 60 billion. And then the U.S. border security side is a joke because you would think, oh, well, wait, we got 20 billion coming for security for the border. Oh, no. It's not putting up a wall that you may think it's doing. No, what they're doing is they are basically, they're using this money to process them faster for asylum seekers, right? To basically clear a plan to, becoming a citizen. And that's what this is for. It's to help add more bodies to process them. It has nothing to do with a wall. All right. So this is a call to action. You reach out to your representative who's not representing us. Like I said, taxation without representation. And you need to just start letting them know you ain't happy about what this is coming. All right. It looks like there is a lot of people. There are a lot of people actually blowing up over this, which is good. All right. Notice the Israeli piece is 14 million. That's what they asked for. I think it was like 12.5 or something. But notice right above the line above that is 10 billion for Gaza. All right. And then a little bit for the Asian Pacific side. And then the Red Sea conflict of $2.4 billion. All right. Which I don't think they need that much. But yeah, again, they're just packing this thing full of pork, man. It's ridiculous. All right. So then Schumer doubles down. He's like, well, listen, if you don't pass this bill and keep our deep state panic from happening over in Ukraine, because remember, I told you, they stood up shop in Ukraine, 1948. They've been there ever since. All right. But this right here, doubling down, Schumer warns U.S. troops will be sent to fight Russians if the border bill is not passed. So he's telling you right there, okay, well, we have no other choice but to actually go to war. Well, that's part of the plan. That's why NATO is sounding the alarm, because they know spring offensive's coming. You guys all better be ready because we're going to go proactive against Russia in the region. All right. Speaking of Bohicas, check this out. Waste of the day, over $1 billion in weapons missing in Ukraine, right? Again, treason, right? You're taking our tax dollars. You're sending out threat letters to collection on stuff that you've already collected on because the IRS is completely weaponized now. All right. And yet you have the gall to go around and not be able to find. You failed 7 audits at the Pentagon, and now you've got $1 billion in missing weapons in Ukraine. You hear Zelensky saying the fact that the money's not making it to us. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's just going in bank accounts, folks. Yeah. Oh, hey, this is like I said, this is treason. All right. Okay, here is Biggs Army Airfield. The only thing I want to point out is just notice the Atlas Airs coming in. These are 747s. Omni coming in from Indy, right? 767. And then notice it's running back over to Frankfurt. And then, of course, you've got a Southwest that came in from Fort Drum. And then, of course, it's headed to Dallas Love. That's a deadheaded flight, okay? So it came in full left empty, all right? And then you've got Omni. Looks like it's headed back to Perot. But this, I think, is a mix of it could be immigrants. It could be moving tanks, actually, the 747s. That's usually a pretty big equipment. It could have troops. But I think you've got a mix of everything going there. All right, Dover, same thing. Atlas Airs, this one coming in from Chicago, 747, headed to Ramstein. So that's headed to Europe. And then another Camber flight headed to Ramstein, too. That'll be troops, all right? Moving on, this is, let's see, Ramstein. We've already shown that, 747. These two showing up. A third one coming in from Iceland. I think that's Iceland. And 6-7, and then where's it headed back to? Let's go through C-17 there. And Atlas headed to Baltimore, Washington. Another one, Reach going, looks like that's headed to Turkey. All right, another Reach headed to Ireland, and then that one's headed back to Iceland, it looks like. All right. All right. Nothing there on the board. Okay, let's look at RZE Poland. This is your forward operating base. Big takeaway here is nothing on the board. I see a base commander coming in and out. One coming in. Looks like it took off and came back, then headed. It's out of Wiesbaden, all right, and then back to RZE. from a departure standpoint. So, yeah, I see nothing. No 747s. Well, let's take a look. Why is that important? If we go back to this real fast, I just want to show you, look at Ukraine. Let me take away the Bohica thing. Okay, this typically we see a mix of blues and reds, right? The blues are Ukrainian artillery. The reds are Russian. What do you not see? Blue. I'm telling you, they haven't fired a shot, and this is from today, okay? They're running out, folks, running out. The interesting piece, right straight across from me, you see the gap between the red dots? Well, that's significant because remember, that was an area they told everybody stay out of, okay? If you're in this area, you need to evacuate immediately because it's about to go super hot, and then it went quite the opposite of that. Nothing went hot. We didn't see any strikes and haven't seen. That's just a big gap in the area. Nothing being put down range there, okay? All right, that's that aspect. Now let's talk Israel for a second. In fact, as we go back to this, I'm going to hide the Ukraine piece. I want to show you Israel. Here's what the big takeaway is on that particular piece, and that is, notice up here at the top, very top, that is the Lebanese border, all right? Starting to get very active to the north. Down straight across from me over here in the corner, that's Gaza, all right? You expect to see that. Still going on heavy, but it is spreading north, folks. That means Israel is they're engaging with Hezbollah at the north. All right, pay close attention to that because I do believe this could end up seeing what we do see is the activity. Let me get back over here to this Isaiah 17, right, where Damascus will just disappear overnight. All right, so pay attention to that. Okay, these are the Brits. Just let me back up and see. It looks like you got them coming out of Cyprus, headed southbound. Just 3 flights up, not too much. Western Global looks to be moving a lot of things in and out from Anchorage. Notice where they're going. This is interesting flights. Anchorage to Mexico City, Anchorage to Hong Kong. All right, what's going on there? Again, Western Global. All right, this is Doha. I'm just looking to see if we've got anything. We do have some C-17 activity, and not seeing anything else from that standpoint. So I looked at Djibouti. Djibouti's clean again today, so nothing to see there. All right, listen, that is going to do it for our Sitrep today. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day. If you're in the chat right now watching it in the evening over on YouTube, this is a premiere. I'm in the chat with you. Yeah, stop by and say hi. So, all right, listen, that's it. Keep that powder dry. Stay frosty. We'll talk soon. God bless. Monkey out. Thanks for watching, folks. You can check out the latest gear and products by selecting the QR code on your screen now or go to monkeyworksus.com.